Hello students, I am Gurmeet Singh. Welcome to CREATA classes and also to our series on coordinate geometry for class 10 student. In this lecture, we will cover the revision of the complete coordinate geometry chapter. Do not forget to download the PDF of the concept and the formula list. The link is given in the description. Also, if you want to do all the lectures in very detail, the link to all these lectures is given in the description. Check it out. We have a complete series on coordinate geometry in very detail. And we use the power of visualization, that is the visual tools and techniques, to make you understand the concept in much easier way. That's our specialty. We believe in adding creativity to learning. So without taking any further time, let's start the lecture. Best of luck for the exam you are preparing for. Here is the lecture. Let's start with the introduction to the coordinate system or the coordinate geometry. The coordinate plane is basically consists of two axes, the x-axis and the y-axis. Firstly, let's take down the x-axis. The x-axis is having the point 0, the center point as 0, and all the numbers on the right hand side will be in the positive, that is in the increasing order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up to infinity. And on the left hand side it will have the negative number which will further decrease to negative infinity, like -1, -2, -3, -4. On the right hand side it is positive number and on left hand side it is negative number. Similarly, on the y-axis we are having point 0 at the center, and on the top side it is having the positive number in the increasing order 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and below the 0, that is in the downward term, it will be negative number in the decreasing order -1, -2, -3 up to the infinity. So these are x-axis and y-axis. If we join x-axis and y-axis at the point O, then it will form the xy axis, that is xy plane, the 2D plane. This point 0 is known as origin. Both x-axis and y-axis will intersect at point 0. This point 0 is known as origin, which is also symbolized as 0, 0. If we talk about the coordinate geometry, the points are identified as x, y in the bracket. For example, if the number is 2, 3, here the first number is denoting the x coordinate and the second number is denoting the y coordinate. Let's try to locate some of the point. For example, we are having a one point on xy plane. We have to find the location of this point. Location means what is its x coordinate and what is its y coordinate. How we will do that? We will draw the perpendicular line toward the x-axis and y-axis. From this point, these two lines are perpendicular to x-axis and y-axis. Wherever it will cross x-axis, that will be its x coordinate. Here it is crossing the x-axis at the point 5, so its x coordinate will be 5. Similarly, on the y coordinate, it is touching at point 3, so its y coordinate will be point 3. So we can say its x coordinate and y coordinate are 5 and 3 respectively. We will write it in the coordinate form as x, y, which is basically 5, 3. That is the location of this point. Got it? Similarly, let's take some negative example. Here, if we talk about this point, we have to find its location. Let's draw the line perpendicular to x-axis and y-axis. It is crossing the x-axis at -6 and on y-axis at +4, so its coordinate will be -6, 4. Similarly, for this point, its x and y coordinate will be -10 and -2. Both are negative. So we got its location as -10, -2. Similarly, let's find the coordinate of this point. This point is on x-axis. So if we try to draw the line toward the x-axis and y-axis, the perpendicular line, it is already on the x-axis, so the line perpendicular to x-axis will be 0 basically, because it is on the x-axis. So we can say its x coordinate will be 7, the point on which it is on the x-axis. Similarly, it will touch the y-axis at point 0. So we got the coordinate of this point as 7, 0. X coordinate as 7 and y coordinate as 0. Similarly, this point will be 0, 6. This will be -4, 0. This will be 0, -5. Got it? I am going slightly fast because we have already covered. If you want to again go to the detail, check the lecture in the description. So we have done with the basic introduction. Let's move further. If we are having 2 points and we have to find the distance between the 2 points, then we will use the distance formula. This is the distance formula. Suppose we are having 2 points. The first point is x1, y1 and the second point is x2, y2. The distance between these 2 points A and B will be root of x2 minus x1 whole square plus y2 minus y1 whole square. Got it? Through this formula we can find the distance between any two given point. Suppose we are having the first point as 6, 5 and the second point as 3, 2. Let's join both the point and we have to find the distance between both the point. We can simply apply the distance formula. Let's assume this point as x1, y1 and this point as x2, y2. Simply we have to put the value of x1, x2, y1, y2. We got the distance between the point as root of 18. Got it? This is the answer, that is root of 18 is the distance between point A and B. Note that we can take any point as x1, y1 and any point as x2, y2. Suppose we flip both the point, then also our answer will not change. Why? Because we are having the square term on both the side. Here it is x1 minus x2 whole square. It can be 3 minus 6, that is minus 3 square, or 6 minus 3 plus 3 square. Both answer will be 9. Plus 3 square is 9 and minus 3 square is also 9. So we can take any point as x1 or any point as x2, y1, y2. You can flip, the square will neutralize that effect. Okay. Let's take one point in the negative. Suppose the first point is 4, 3 and the second point is minus 5, minus 2. I am specially taking the negative case because the students get confused that they have to apply the negative symbol or not, as in the question already negative symbol is there. The answer is that you have to apply the negative symbol of the coordinate. Here the second coordinate is minus 5, minus 2. That is x1, y1 is 4 and 3. x2 and y2 are minus 5 and minus 2 respectively. So in the formula you have to put the minus symbol. Got it? On putting in the formula we got our answer as root of 106. That is the answer. The distance between the point A and B. Got it? Just a small understanding to avoid any confusion in the mid of the examination. You have to put the negative symbol. So this is the distance formula. Let's try to understand what type of questions can come in the exam or what are the basic concepts that you should know. Basically, coordinate geometry is linked with other form of geometry like triangle, lines, quadrilateral. There is always a linking between both of them. So you should know all about triangles, quadrilateral, circles, all the geometrical figure. That will be really helpful to you. Otherwise, you will be not able to solve the question. Let's see. The first case is that the question is generally asked that 3 points are given. We have to check whether the triangle will be formed or the triangle will not be formed. 3 points are given. If we join these 3 points, whether the triangle will be formed or no triangle will be formed. So what are the case in which no triangle will be formed? When these 3 points are on a straight line, then no triangle will be formed. When these 3 points are slightly above and below, then only triangle will be formed. That is non-collinear. So how we will check? The fundamental is that sum of two sides of the triangle should be greater than the third side. If the sum of two sides is not greater than the third side, then the triangle will not be formed. Got it? 3 points are given. Firstly, we will calculate the distance between the 3 points. That is, we will calculate the sides of the triangle. Then we will check the addition of the two sides should be greater than the third side. For example, we are having a triangle with sides as 4, 5 and 6. Here the sum of two sides should be greater than the third side. That is 4 plus 5 is greater than 6. Yes, it is. 4 plus 6 is greater than 5. Yes, it is. 5 plus 6 is greater than 4. Yes, it is. So we can say 4, 5 and 6 will form the triangle. The same philosophy you have to use in the examination. Firstly, find the three sides of the triangle using the distance formula, then apply this philosophy. Then you can cross check whether the triangle will be formed or not. This is the question that we have taken down in the distance formula, in which we have cross checked, that is whether the triangle will be formed or not. The second type of question that is asked is which type of triangle will be formed. So the various type of triangle that can be formed is, first it is equilateral triangle, the triangle in which all the three sides are equal. You have to calculate the three sides using the distance formula. Then you can check whether the three sides are equal or not. The second type of triangle that can form is an isosceles triangle, in which two sides are equal. So you can easily cross check whether the two sides are equal or not. The last type of triangle that can be formed is an right angle triangle. So how you will check that the triangle is a right angle triangle or not? We will use the property of a right angle triangle, that is Pythagoras theorem. That is a square plus b square is equal to c square. Here c square is the square of the hypotenuse. Once you are able to find the three sides, the longest will be the hypotenuse. So you have to check a square plus b square, that is square of the two legs of the triangle, should be equal to the square of the hypotenuse. If this condition is matching, then that triangle is a right angled triangle. But the base to all these questions are finding the distance between the point, that is distance formula. So first of all, you have to find the three sides of the triangle. Got it? The next type of question that is asked in the distance formula is checking whether the 3 points are collinear or not. 3 points are collinear means these 3 points are coming on a straight line. If the 3 points are on a straight line, they are collinear. If not, then they are not collinear. Suppose we are having the point ABC, B is in between point A and C. How we will check whether the point A, B, C in the sequence are collinear? The condition is that if AB plus BC is equal to the complete length AC, then the 3 points are collinear. AB plus BC is equal to AC. You can apply the simple logic. AB plus BC is equal to complete length AC. Then this addition of two segment will be equal to complete segment. Then the 3 points are in a straight line. If this point B is slightly above or below, then AB plus BC will not be equal to AC. It means they are not on a straight line. Then the triangle will be formed. Got it? So this is the condition to check the points are collinear or not. AB plus BC is equal to AC. Are you understanding? In the triangle, the two sides, the sum of two sides should be greater than the third side. In the collinear, the sum of two sides should be equal to the complete length AC. Note that the point B is in between the point A and C. You cannot say AC plus AB is equal to BC. That is not the condition. AB plus BC, that is the point, is between A and C. AB plus BC is equal to the complete length AC. Got it? Note these small differences. This will be really helpful in the mid of the examination. Further, the next type of question is asked. The 4 points are given, and if you join the 4 point, the quadrilateral will be formed. You have to cross check whether the quadrilateral formed is which type of quadrilateral, which type of parallelogram. Like it is rectangle, is it square, is it rhombus, or any other type of quadrilateral, or no special type of quadrilateral, what basically it is. So this is also important. Generally the confusion is between rhombus, rectangle and square. Only these are generally asked in the examination. I will just explain the basic. In the rhombus, all the sides are equal, but all the angles are not equal. In the rectangle, the opposite sides are equal and all the angles are equal, that is 90° each. Opposite sides are equal, not all sides are equal, only the opposite sides are equal and all the angles are equal. In the square, all the sides are equal as well as all the angles are equal. Got it? The special thing is that on all these three parallelogram, it is the diagonals. In the rhombus, the diagonals are perpendicular bisector to each other. The diagonals are not equal in rhombus. This is important. Note that In rhombus, the diagonals are not equal. In the rectangle, the diagonals are equal. In the square, the diagonals are equal as well as they are perpendicular bisector. Got it? The confusion is generally between the rhombus and the square, because in both these cases all the sides are equal. Once you got the 4 coordinate or the vertices of this quadrilateral, you can easily find the distance between the 4 points to get the 4 sides of the quadrilateral. And once all the 4 sides are equal, you can say it is rhombus or square. So the deciding criteria will be the length of the diagonals. In the square, the diagonals are equal. In the rhombus, the diagonals are not equal. Got it? Just the small tips to solve the question. Further, the type of question that is generally asked is 2 points are given on the coordinate plane and it is said that these points are equidistant from the x-axis or these points are equidistant from the y-axis. Suppose we are having 2 points A and B and these 2 points are equidistant from the y-axis. Suppose we are having a point O on y-axis and these 2 points are equidistant from the point O, that is AO is equal to BO, and generally we have to find the coordinate of the point O. So what philosophy we will use? We will say the point A and point B are equidistant from point O. It means that AO is equal to BO. So we will apply the distance formula, we will equate both the equation, we will get the x and the y coordinate. The second important thing is that it is y-axis. On the y-axis, the x coordinate will be 0. What I mean is that if we take all these points on the y-axis, you will observe its x coordinate will be 0. So we can say the coordinate of O, which is x comma y, will be 0 comma y. So you only have to find the y coordinate. Got it? We have already taken this type of question in our theory part. You can cross check if you are having a doubt. Similarly, if we are having 2 points which are equidistant from the x coordinate, then we can say AO is equal to BO. Again, the same philosophy, but here the y coordinate will be 0. On the complete x-axis, if you observe all these points, its y coordinate is 0. So the coordinate of point O will be x comma 0. The y is 0. Again, we will equate both the equation and we will solve for the x. Got it? So this is for the distance formula. I have gone slightly fast, I know that, but this is only the revision series. If you want the complete lecture series, check out the link in the description. This lecture is only to brush up your concept. You may be having the exam tomorrow, so I will go slightly fast. The next is the section formula. In the section formula, we are having 2 points A and B. The point A is x1, y1, point B is x2, y2. And they are joining to form the line segment AB. We are also having a third point, that is point P, whose coordinate are x comma y. This point P is basically dividing the line segment AB into certain ratio. The ratio, let's assume as M1 and M2. M1 is to M2. For example, it is 2:1. It means M1 is 2 and M2 is 1. M1, M2 are just the ratio in which the point P is dividing the line segment AB. So the coordinate of point P will be the section formula. That is P x comma y, that is the coordinate of point P, will be M1 x2 plus M2 x1 upon M1 plus M2, comma M1 y2 plus M2 y1 upon M1 plus M2. The first portion is the x coordinate and the second portion is the y coordinate. So this is the section formula through which we can find the coordinate of point P, which is dividing the line segment into certain ratio. In this case, it is M1 is to M2. For example, if we are having 2 points, the first point has 4 comma minus 3 and the second point has 8 comma 5, and we are also having the point P, which is dividing the line segment AB into the ratio of 3:1. The coordinate of point P we can find using the section formula. So this is a section formula. Here x1, y1 are 0.4 and minus 3. x2, y2 are 8, 5. M1 is 3 and M2 is 1. Note that here you can also replace the x1, y1 and x2, y2, but M1 and M2 will also be replaced accordingly. M1 will come with x1, y1 and M2 will come with x2, y2. Got it? Let's simply put it in the formula. we got the coordinate of point P as 7, 3. Got it? Just to show the implementation of the section formula, do not be worried about the length of the formula, just observe this formula in very detail. If you observe the x and the y coordinate, here on the bottom we are having m1 plus m2. That is the addition of the ratio on both sides, m1 plus m2, m1 plus m2, and m1 plus m2 is also coming on the numerator. Here m1 m2, m1 m2, just we are getting x2 x1, y2 y1 as the additional component. Just a small tip to remember, you are always welcome to generate your own technique to remember the formula. My technique is that m1 and m2 are coming in the denominator, also they are coming on the numerator. Just in the numerator we are having some additional term. On the x term it is x2 x1, on the y term it is y2 y1. Note that it is not x1 x2, it is x2 x1, y2 y1, 1 with 2, 2 with 1. Got it? Moving further, there is a modified section formula which is used for the midpoint. Suppose the point P is coming at the midpoint of AB, then the ratio m1 is to m2 will be 1 is to 1. Point P is the midpoint, so the point P is dividing the line segment AB into two equal parts or equal halves. So m1, m2 will be 1 is to 1. On putting m1 as 1, m2 as 1, we got our midpoint formula as x1 plus x2 upon 2 plus y1 plus y2 upon 2. This is very important formula and straightforward formula. If we are having 2 points, just we have to add and divide it by 2 to get the midpoint. This will be mostly used in the questions, especially in the competitive exam if you are preparing for the future exams. Okay. Further, the type of questions. The question that is asked is to find the ratio in which the point P is dividing the line segment AB. We can assume the ratio as m1 and m2 and we can solve the equation. But the fastest technique is that assume the ratio as k is to 1. We are not assuming the ratio as m1 is to m2. We are assuming the ratio as k is to 1. Here, if we divide m2 on both sides, we got m1 by m2 is to 1. And we have taken just m1 upon m2 as k. Basically k is to 1. The benefit is that if you put the k is to 1 ratio in the formula, here we can replace m1 term with k and m2 term with 1. So it becomes slightly simple to solve the question. The next type of question that is asked is, suppose we are having a line segment AB joining the point A and B and it is crossing the x-axis or it is crossing the y-axis. We have to find in what ratio the x-axis is dividing the line segment AB or the y-axis is dividing the line segment AB if it is crossing x-axis or the y-axis respectively. So what philosophy we will use? Firstly, we will assume the ratio as k is to 1 that we have just discussed, and we will assume the point on x coordinate as x, 0. All the point on the x-axis will have the y as 0. So we will not assume the point as x, y. We will assume the point as x, 0. Similarly, for the y-axis, we will assume the point as 0, y. All the points on the y-axis will have its x as 0. Got it? If you want to go into the detail, we have covered a similar type of questions in our previous lectures. Check out the link in the description. This is just the basic concept that you should apply. Further, one more type of question is asked that involves the property of the parallelogram. One parallelogram is given and we have to find one of the missing dimension or any type of missing thing, maybe the ratio. So basically, if the quadrilateral is given, we have to draw its diagonal. And there is a property of parallelogram, that is the diagonals are bisector of each other. It means that if we are having the diagonal as AC and the diagonal as BD, then AO will be equal to OC and BO will be equal to OD. AO and OC will be equal to each other and BO and OD will be equal to each other. That is the ratio of AO is to OC will be 1 is to 1 and BO is to OD will be 1 is to 1. We got the ratio of both of this line segment. We can assume the line segment as AC and point O is dividing the AC into 1 is to 1. Similarly, the line segment BD, the point O is dividing the BD into 1:1. These concepts we can apply in solving the question. It may be the missing dimension, it may be the ratio, it may be anything. But this is the basic philosophy that you can apply. The next type of question is that suppose we are having the line segment AB and we are also having the 2 point P and Q. The point P and Q is dividing the line segment into certain ratio. Here it will be 3 ratio. For example, the three parts are equal. So we can say AP is to PQ is to QB will be 1:1:1. Got it? All the three parts are equal. We can say so. The other thing that we can say is that here AQ is to QB will be equal to 2:1. This complete line segment is 2 and this is 1. AQ is composed of two parts, AP plus PQ, that is 2:1. Similarly, AP is to PB will be 1:2. Here this complete part is 2 and this is 1. So we can take the different ratios and we can apply the section formula. We can also take the line segment AQ and we can dissolve the part QB. We can say AP is to QB is 1:1 and we can apply the section formula. Similarly, we can take PQB, this line segment, and dissolve the AP and say PQ is to QB is 1:1 and apply the section formula. So these are the basic type of question that is generally asked in the section formula. Moving to the last part, that is the area of the triangle. So this is the triangle. We know the three coordinates of the three vertices of this triangle and we have to find the area of this triangle ABC. The formula that is applicable is half into x1 into y2 minus y3 plus x2 into y3 minus y1 plus x3 into y1 minus y2. So this is the formula, the long formula, but do not worry about the length of this formula. The formula is very simple. You must be knowing the normal formula of area of the triangle as half into base into height. So this half will come from that side. I am just telling you the remembering technique, what I used to do to remember this formula. Half will come from the basic formula of area of the triangle, that is half into base into height. And if you see this big formula, this big section, here it is x1, x2, x3. You can remember like x1, x2, x3 in the sequence it will be there, and the y terms will come in the bracket. X in the starting and y in the bracket, like x and y, and x1, x2, x3 in the sequence. And there is an cyclic repetition of number in x and y. Let's see what it means. If you observe the first term x1, y2, y3, it will be 1, 2, 3. You can imagine a circle. 1, 2, 3 will come in the cyclic order. In the second term it is 2, 3, 1. 2, 3, 1 will again come in the cyclic order. In the last it is 3, 1, 2. So 3, 1, 2 is again in the cyclic order. Just a small remembering technique. If it is helpful to you, you can take it, or you are open to generate your own technique. So this is the formula. Don't be afraid of this formula. Just a simple half into some of the technique that we have used. Suppose let's take a triangle. The coordinates are given. Let's assume the first point as x1, y1, second as x2, y2, and third as x3, y3. Simply we know all the terms. We can apply the area of the triangle formula. We got the area of this triangle as -2 square unit. We got the answer in minus. But the area of the triangle cannot be in negative. So we have to take the absolute term or the numeric term of this -2. That is only 2. So the answer to this question is area of the triangle is 2 square unit. Got it? Whenever you got the term in negative, just take the positive value. So the answer will be +2. That is only the positive term. Got it? The next type of question that is generally asked in the area of the triangle is checking the collinear point. Let's try to link the collinear point with the triangle or the area of the triangle. Whenever we are having the 3 points which are collinear, no triangle will be formed. Triangle will only be formed when the 3 points are not collinear. One point is slightly above or below the rest of the point, then only triangle will be formed. Whenever in the question you got that the 3 points are collinear, then you can easily say no triangle will be formed, which means that area of the triangle formed is 0. Are you correlating? No triangle formed will be equal to area of the triangle formed is equal to 0. Basically no triangle is forming, so no area will be there, that is 0. So you can equate the formula, the area of the triangle formula with 0, and you can solve the question. The basic fundamental. The next type of question is asked, a quadrilateral is given and you have to find the area of that quadrilateral. We have done the formula of the triangle, but we have not done the formula of area of the quadrilateral. The catch is that the quadrilateral is basically composed of two triangles. Separately, you can find the area of both of the triangle using the simple formula of area of triangle. You can add both the area, you will get the area of the quadrilateral. Similarly, you can find area of the any of the polygon. Polygons are basically composed of many triangles. Just find the area of the triangle, all the triangles, and add it up. You will find the area of that polygon. Further, you can take a triangle and also divide the triangle into two different triangles. If the question demands, you can divide the triangle into two parts. Here, this complete triangle is divided into two different triangles. You can find the area of the both the triangle separately. Just the case a scenario in which the question framework may ask you to divide the triangle. You must know that. Other is that you can have a triangle inside the triangle. This is a big triangle. If you join the points on the sides of this triangle, you will find the new triangle. Just to give you the basic understanding what the question framer may ask you in the examination, you should be open with your creativity and solve the different type of question. The basic fundamental you must know, and based on the basic fundamental you can solve any of the question. So students, that's it for the complete series of coordinate geometry. This is the last lecture. Hope you have enjoyed all our lecture. We have specially created all the lecture using power of visualization to make you understand the concept in much easier way. We have all the chapters of class 10 in our playlist of YouTube. Check out all the videos in our YouTube channel. So that's it for this video and series. Thank you very much. Bye for now. Have a great day. Bye bye.